Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and a subscriber requested that I take a look at the Gentle Giant line of Star Wars figures. And I don't collect them, I don't know much about them, so I said, hey, sure, I'll take a look and just see if there's any interesting sales. The only ones that really appeal to me, quite honestly, are the first shot prototypes. Those pop up on eBay occasionally, and they are items that I've talked about in past market updates or what to buy on eBay, things like that. And I found a few of them that sold recently, and they seem to be pretty consistently coming up, maybe once a month or something like that. If you can find them at auction, though, I mean, I just think they're so cool to be able to get a first shot prototype for one of those. So we'll take a look at some of those sales prices, but really I'm just going to focus on packaged Gentle Giants that I thought looked interesting that have sold over the last month or so. So let's take a look. This was a nice looking one. This was a convention, SDCC convention exclusive from 2016. This is the Luke Farm Boy, but what I like about it is it's got the alternate card image. So I feel like Gentle Giant does a really good job of capturing what it is that we as collectors like about the vintage Kenner line, obviously on a huge scale. But the fact that they brought back the Luke Gunner card I thought was cool. And also the fact that they come unpunched like that and come in a protective case. I mean, on the negative, they're all about the same condition, right? If they've been kept in that case. The positive is that it's pretty easy to find, and most of these are not very expensive. You can find some nice examples out there if you're into these. The space constraints is always the issue, right? But here's the back of the card on this one, and they obviously have a lot of these in the line. So this one was an SDCC exclusive. It seems like every SDCC Gentle Giant has a new convention exclusive available. And this was one from 2016. They had 3 available, and 2 of them have sold at $230. You could also make an offer as well if you are looking for one, but this seller has one still available. The Death Star droid. The other thing that's interesting about the Gentle Giant line is that you can find out, from what I gather, you can find out how many were ordered and how many were actually produced. I think it's kind of like an on-demand type of thing. Again, I'm talking out of my butt here. I don't know anything about Gentle Giant, but the fact that you can get the production numbers, and this one's mentioned as one of 950, and the fact that you can get the production numbers for a lot of them is also kind of appealing, right? You can at least see which ones have maybe weren't ordered that much up front, but have become a little bit more collectible because of the lower production runs versus maybe some of the others. And this one was listed up in Canada, $250 Canadian dollars, which is $183.37 US. But that's the Death Star droid, and pretty cool looking card back on that one. Very obviously, pretty much basically in line with the Kenner items. This one was the Ponda Baba. This one's one of 1020. Apparently, and obviously Ponda Baba, Walrus Man, is a pretty desirable character. I think one cool thing that they could do is to really tap into the market is start looking at like different variants, right? You could have like a Ponda Baba with pink tusks. You could have the mint green Ponda Baba, just weird things like that where it's really just changing the slight color scheme. Do a limited one of 500, and it would probably get snapped right up by Gentle Giant collectors, but I'm sure they've done something similar to that in the past. But that just was something that, especially with someone like Ponda Baba, where there are obvious color differences for the vintage Kenner figure, that you could parlay that into something like this. So anyway, that one sold for 185 Canadian, which is 135 US dollars. And that's kind of about the going rate for most of these Gentle Giants. I mean, even loose, complete, and near mint condition, they can go for about that price for a number of different characters. I didn't pull up any loose, complete examples to show you what they sold for, but I'm just looking casually on eBay sold listings that consistently 100 to 150 bucks for most of these. SDCC exclusive from 2021. This is a Return of the Jedi version, one of only 750 for this Boba Fett on the Return of the Jedi card with the foil card back, and this has got a rocket firing rocket on there. And this one, they kind of show some slight dings, maybe some dings to the blister on that. So this one was in the container, but obviously had a little bit of damage going on, or it was taken out and caused some damage. But anyway, that one again was from 2021 and sold for $150 in a make an offer situation. That was at $200. It was listed at $200, $150, just given the blister damage. Here was another different version of Boba Fett. Again, the rocket firing, but this was on the Star Wars 20 or 21 back with the kit bash kind of look to it. Just kind of cool how they kind of mix and match some of the different vintage Kenner things that they do. This one sold in an auction for $170.50 plus another $25 shipping, so about $200 for that one. And then here was another one. This one, I believe, is the exact same card as this one. It looks the same to me, and this one sold for a lot more money. This one sold for $288. Again, I could be missing out on what if there's any kind of random slight differences to it, but it looks to me the same. I have seen some unpainted rocket firing prototypes, and there are certain characters where for the Gentle Giant where they packaged them, right? I know the unpainted Boba Fett quote unquote prototype. That's this particular figure unpainted. I know that they did that for Batman as well, like the DC Superpowers Batman. Those are kind of just one-off variants that they also, they're not true prototypes. They're just produced to look like prototypes, and they are still desirable though, and they still sell for quite a bit of money. But anyway, that one sold for $288, and again, this one sold for about $200 after shipping. This one was $300 after shipping, so interesting to see the price differences on that. And then here was a third one that also sold for $300 plus $25 shipping. Here's another exclusive. This was one of 750 for the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. Again, another this is Summer Convention web exclusive, Darth Vader. And they mentioned SDCC there, but this one says Summer Convention web exclusive. That's a pretty cool looking one with Darth Vader there. And that one was listed for $150 and sold for $130. $130 was the best offer accepted on that one. Here is a blue snaggletooth, which is on kind of a skinnier card back, and they, have the Gammy and Lando Bespin on the back of that card back. But this is another one that's always pretty expensive. I've seen a couple of these for sale over the years. I think Chris W. had one on Rogue 5 Toys that sold for about this price, but this one did sell for $425 Canadian, about $311 US dollars. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of a skinny card back there for blue snags. Another cool one was this Power of the Force Luke Stormtrooper disguise, and that came with the coin. I like the way that one looks a lot. That's pretty cool. And that one sold for $200 free shipping. And I thought this one was pretty funny. This was what's called a Premier Guild exclusive. And I think the way Gentle Giant works, you guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but Premier Guild just means that you pay to be a member for with Gentle Giant, like an annual membership, and as a result of that, you get first dibs for these Premier Guild exclusives. And that's what this one was. This was a holiday edition Yoda, which I thought was really cool. He's dressed up in a Santa outfit with a little toy sack on his back there, but there's the back of that one. Yoda Holiday Edition Jumbo Action Figure. So that one was listed for $280 US dollars and sold for $190 US dollars. So Premier Guild 2013. I don't know if they're still doing that or not. I didn't see a lot of other Premier Guild sales for Gentle Giant when I looked them up on eBay. Maybe they got rid of that. I don't know. Next up, here was another Premier Guild figure. This is the Medical Droid 21B, and this was from 2014 for the Premier Guild. You can see there, Premier Guild exclusive 2014. That one was listed for $250. The best offer accepted on that was $200. And there it is there. And so, yeah, here's some wording on it. As a member of the Gentle Giant Premier Guild, you can purchase PG exclusives not available to the general public. You also have first opportunity to pre-order purchase additional exclusives such as San Diego Comic-Con exclusives prior to the general public. We are also offering exclusive variants and bonus accessories, blah, blah, blah. So to me, it's kind of cool that the fact that they did that. I don't know what they charged for that, but Again, you guys can fill me in on the comments as you're leaving me a like. And if they even still do that anymore, I don't know. Next up, these were cool. This was a pack of 3 for the Star Wars droids, heavy hitters, Boba Fett, R2-D2, pop-up lightsaber, and then C-3PO. And I assume that all 3 of those had the coin. Let's see here. Very cool there. Yeah, all of them have the coins. I've seen just the Boba Fett sell for like $300. And that's, again, a 2015 convention exclusive. They're pretty smart, you know, they're pretty smart to make the ones that are most desirable, and they know that the ones that collectors really want. Star Wars Celebration exclusive for 2015 for the C-3PO. So they make the really desirable characters or the kind of cool packaging variants, convention or SDCC exclusives. So those are really cool. That one, for all 3 of those together, that sold for $1,000 free shipping. So very expensive for those convention exclusives. And then here was the first 12 figures for the Gentle Giant line. And again, this kind of goes back to what I'm talking about. Unless you've got like a big wall somewhere where you can hang these up. And again, shout out to Gentle Giant for this, because, you know, the packaging that comes in includes little holes or little tabs where you can kind of hang it up with thumbtacks without damaging the actual figures. So the Vinyl Cape Jawa was an exclusive to the San Diego Comic-Con from 2011. So for all 12 of those sold over in the UK for 2,500 pounds, which is about 3,200 US dollars. Plus, if you're going to ship it here, it would have been another $340 shipping. So $3,500 for the first 12. You know, again, it did include a 2011 San Diego Comic-Con Vinyl Cape Jawa, which has got to be probably pretty expensive just given the age on that. I mean, that's 13 years ago now. So pretty cool to see those selling a lot. And then finally, we're going to finish off with some prototypes. This was one I think I had in a video at one point, but this was a first shot prototype Luke X-Wing, and it was listed for $300. The best offer accepted on that was $220. So that was a pretty good deal there for a first shot prototype Luke X-Wing. And then here was another one from that seller Villains, who I've bought from in the past. I bought some baggies from him in the past, but he had an kind of pseudo unpainted or at least unfinished test shot prototype Leia Hoth Gentle Giant. You can see how big it is relative to Size Fromm there. And it had some Far East writing there on the cheek, and obviously unfinished since the face was unpainted. So this is probably like a final engineering prototype, FEP type thing, or engineering pilot, I should say, not prototype. But this was just probably testing out to make sure that the final paint applications were being appropriately painted on the figure. And a lot of those do pop up on eBay if you're patient, and set your searches to worldwide. A lot of those China factories that produce these Gentle Giants, they will list these unpainted or partially painted final engineering pilots. They'll list them on eBay, either in auctions or in buy it now situations. They're not cheap, but you know, they are very nice. I've seen a few examples that they've had for sale at auction go for big money. There was a Yoda unpainted prototype that sold for like $800 or $900, but I think it just depends on the figure and that kind of thing, or the character, I should say. But if you do search, they do pop up occasionally from the Far East, and you got to make sure they're not scammers. But there are one or two sellers that they must work for Hasbro, or excuse me, for Gentle Giant or something, because they consistently get multiple unpainted prototypes for the Gentle Giant line. Here's one again from Villains. This was a unpainted Stormtrooper Gentle Giant, and it did have some Chinese writing on the back there from, testing out the figure mold. So that's pretty cool. That one sold for $400. And I think if I was going to get one, I'd get something like that, or something like this, where you got a partially finished with unpainted limbs for IG-88, unpainted head. Very cool first shot prototype. That one was listed for $300. The best offer accepted on that was $275. That would be a really cool one to send in to get encased, right? It's just so big, though, I'd want to do it. If you guys ever see an unpainted or first shot prototype Gentle Giant Bosk or Death Star droid, that would pique my interest. I would definitely get one of those and send it into CAS and get it like encapsulated. It would make a nice centerpiece, on one of these stupid shelves if I could figure out a spot for it. But That IG-88 would have been really tempting, though. But again, that one sold for $275 in a make an offer situation. So anyway, it was a subscriber request, and I just picked out some random samplings of convention exclusives, prototypes, and standard kind of retail examples that I thought were of interest, and to give you a good snapshot of where they're going for on the secondary market on eBay. Thank you as always for watching, and I will be back soon.